Two triggers, almost the same price. One is ultra compact, the other doubles in size and weight but promises a better workflow. So which one should you buy? In this video I'm comparing the Godox X3 and the X3 Pro and figuring out exactly who each one is made for. Letwell sent me the X3 Pro for review. But I've been shooting with Godox for over 10 years and I will tell you exactly what I think. I will also leave affiliate links in the description for all the products mentioned in this video. Almost 2 years ago, Godox released the X3 and it felt like a big leap compared to older triggers. Touchscreen, USB-C and better compatibility with newer cameras. But yeah, people with big fingers complained. It's tiny. I do love the X3, but if I'm honest, it never felt like the next step after the X Pro. But if you're coming from an X Pro or X Pro 2 and you're wondering whether it's worth upgrading, honestly, it's a no-brainer, just get one. This is a 10-year jump in user experience. It's more compact, and as one Amazon reviewer put it, it's like going from a Casio menu to a smartwatch. And that's actually a pretty fair comparison. Especially if you're planning to use any of the newer Godox Flashes. The X3 Pro keeps the whole system up to date. My name is Jose Alcoy and I share tips and reviews on off-camera flash photography. You can grab my free one light setup guide for dramatic portraits. The link is in the description. So what are the differences between the X3 Pro, the X3 and the old X Pros? You can see 4 groups on the screen at once. That's one more than the X3 and one less than the old X Pro. For some advanced users that can be a big deal. If you're using more than 4, you just need to scroll. Just like the X3, you can tap minus or plus to adjust power across all groups while maintaining the ratio. By the way, when I was recording footage for this video, I started to freak out. My smaller flashes weren't syncing and I thought they'd sent me a dot. Turns out they just need a minimum distance for the signal to work. Unless you change the working distance to 0 to 30 meters, which is what I normally use. On some recent flashes you can go all the way down to 1/512 power. But that isn't enabled by default on the trigger. You have to activate it on the menu under minimum power. You can also choose between decimal increments and 1/3 stop increments. What I'd really like to see is an option to see only full stop increments, because that's how I work most of the time. Smaller increments frustrate me and slow me down. Up to now I've been sticking with the default channel 21, but it's safer to choose a different one, especially if you're not shooting alone. One thing worth mentioning is that the X3 and X3 Pro can scan the surroundings and recommend channels with the least interference, which is useful if you're shooting in crowded locations or studios with lots of wireless gear. If you're using a recent flash, first tap sync on the trigger and then turn on wireless sync on the flash so it matches the trigger. For me, the biggest reason to upgrade from an old trigger to either the X3 or the X3 Pro, it's that you can turn the modeling light on or off on each flash and adjust its power directly from the trigger. That's why, if you're planning to use newer flashes like the AD200 Pro 2, it really makes sense to update the trigger so you can make the most out of it. In my review, which will pop up here, I explain why this is my favorite flash. Beyond the cleaner interface, the X3 Pro adds a few extra touches. One example is that once you jump into a group, You can set the zoom for each group independently. That can be useful for on-camera flashes using Fresnel heads. But inside a softbox you would set it at its widest setting and forget about it. The big touchscreen on the X3 Pro is simply easier to use. Everything has just more breathing room compared to the X3. The interface on this one feels a bit cramped. On both models, using the slider to adjust power is hit or miss, but the larger physical dial on the Pro makes adjustments smoother and more controlled. I'm not going to lie to you, some people miss the physical buttons on this one, and there's a bit of a learning curve on the newer models. But once you get used to it, it's actually a joy to use. Unlike the X3, the X3 Pro includes a focus assist beam, which can help in very low light situations when using a DSLR. On mirrorless cameras, it offers little to no benefit. The battery life is incredible. Godox claims 1 month compared to the 1 week on the X3. Nothing beats the AI batteries on the X Pro. Those lasted forever. Still, USB charging is just so much more convenient. A new feature is that the trigger connects via Bluetooth to the Godox Flash app for remote control and configuration. To use it, you need to create a Godox account. Once inside the app, you select the flash you want to control. I easily found the different versions of the AD200, and I was able to control the modeling light of my AD200 Pro too. However, I couldn't find the V480 or the smaller IT30. Honestly, I didn't find the app very useful. The user experience is simply better on the trigger itself. Because of that, I don't see myself using it unless I physically cannot access the camera. This is the Pro version, so Godox also added a few advanced features. For instance, you can save up to 8 presets. The downside is that you cannot name them, which makes them harder to remember. It also works as an intervalometer, but I haven't bothered trying it. The built-in Sony settings already do the job just fine. I don't think the price is the deciding factor here. The difference is around $10 to $20. The X3 Pro is clearly the better tool, so honestly the only reason to choose the X3 would be its smaller size. If you are on a compact camera and want a gun and run setup, the X3 is perfect. That's exactly how I'll use it. If you're looking for a more comfortable professional workflow or you're upgrading from the X Pro line, go with the X3 Pro. That's the whole story. If you decide to get one, feel free to use my affiliate links. And make sure you pick the right version for your system: Sony, Canon, Nikon, Fujifilm or Olympus. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And watch this video if you want to see my review of the Godox X3 trigger.